This video is brought to you by CoolStuffInc.com, where you can find cool stuff in stock.
Hello and welcome back to another day in the arena. It's me, it's CGB. Today, in the arena, we get some new tricks into one of our old favorite engines that's been around since the very first week of Eldraine, and that is Doom Foretold. Esper Doom Foretold. The deck has been lurking for such a long time. This specific build is made to make absolute most use possible out of the sideboard in best of one. For those who don't know, you can have a sideboard and you can access it with very special cards that go into outside the game, put stuff into your hand. Those cards that we're going to see here are Fae of Wishes, which says you may reveal a non-creature card you own from outside the game, put it into your hand, and Raven's Warning, which says on Chapter 3 you may put a card you own from outside the game on top of your library. So we've got 4 of each of these to try to make the most of our sideboard for the matchups where we need it. What this does is it lets our main deck stay super flexible with cards that aren't narrow and usually bad. And some examples of that, sweepers. People love sweepers, or wraths as they're often called, but if your opponent isn't playing a bunch of creatures, you don't want a sweeper in your deck. It can cost you the game to have sweepers sitting in your deck if your opponent is either their strategy just doesn't involve putting multiple creatures on the battlefield. The other one are counterspells. Counterspells are great. We love counterspells here. Everybody does. But a counterspell isn't very good when it's sitting in your hand and the opponent has a bunch of things on the board beating you to death, because it doesn't interact with the board. On the draw, those cards are specifically worse. Another good example of that are hand hate cards like Agonizing Remorse. They get in the opponent's hand, they take something. Yay! But what if the opponent has a board full of creatures beating you to death? Boo. Generally speaking, counters and hand hate are good in slow matchups, and sweepers are good in fast matchups, but in best of one, you don't know what you're walking into. Hence, in comes Fae of Wishes and Raven's Warning, so that we only go get those cards in the matchups where they matter. The rest of our deck is a lean, mean, Doom Foretold Yorion machine that gets a ton of value and removes the opponent's stuff with sagas and a couple choice removal spells that are cheap. So, the Raven's Warning is the new card. Like, that's the card I most want to cover. Another cool thing about Raven's Warning, it does go off whenever a creature you control with flying hits the opponent, only once a turn. But one of the problems with Raven's Warning is if you can't get that 1/1 bird to hit the opponent, you don't get to draw the card on Chapter 2. You really want the Chapter 2 card. So, if you curve Fae of Wishes into Raven's Warning, voila, 2 flyers. If you play Raven's Warning after Archon, it makes multiple flyers. Archon is still a really good threat against control decks, but it is also a really powerful take over the game card against the aggro decks, which is where it really shines. This is why we don't have to run sweepers. I would have to run sweepers if I didn't run Archon, but Archon, as we saw in my blue-white deck, is just poised to conquer the format at the moment because the mono-white decks and the mono-red decks don't have a ton of great ways to kill it. We're a Yorion deck, so we still have that. We're an ECD deck, so we're still going to play that because it works so well with Yorion and Archon of Sun's Grace to get stuff back. Watch out for the cool ECD tricks where you can discard cards to Fae of Wishes and then get them back with Elspeth Conquers Death. That's pretty fun. That's the main deck. The mana, I have Triomes for a very specific reason. Triomes over Temples. Usually I tell you don't craft Temples because Triomes are generally better for your collection anyway, and they're mostly the same card. In this deck, we can cycle a Triome to draw the card off Chapter 3 of the Raven's Warning right away, since it goes to the top of the deck and not the hand. Sometimes you really want that negate or that disdainful stroke for next turn, and you can put it on top of your deck and cycle a Triome to get it. So that's why we have Triomes. Before the 50 people ask me in comments, my God, I swear they don't even watch the intro. They don't even watch the intro. They just ask the question. They look at the deck list and ask the question. I record a whole intro to answer these questions. Anyway, try not to panic. So many questions you guys don't understand. Over here in the sideboard, we've got a Bloodchief's Thirst to fetch a cheap removal spell or an expensive way to target a planeswalker. A Cling to Dust. A cool thing with escape cards, if you put one on top of your deck with Raven's Warning and the Rogue's deck mills it, haha, You activated my trap card. I wanted it in the graveyard anyway. A Disdainful Stroke. When you don't know if you're going to have to counter their Yorion or their Emergent Ultimatum, Disdainful Stroke is a good fetch. Negate is a good fetch. Agonizing Remorse, we talked about it. Against a slow deck, very good fetch. And Saw It Coming, when you have the mana and you just want a generic counter spell that can hit anything, go get Saw It Coming. Then we've got the Sweepers, Extinction Event, Doomscar, Shadow's Verdict. When the opponent has a wide board, focus your energy on staying alive and then blowing it all up. Ugin, another sweet sweeper, and a Planeswalker. And then we have a Shark Typhoon, which can be a great fetch against a counter spell deck. If you believe they are holding a counter spell when you activate Chapter 3 of the Raven's Warning, or maybe you saw their hand so you know, then putting Shark Typhoon on top of your deck can really mess with them, because they can't counter the cycled ability. There are also opponents like Rakdos who can't get rid of it, and just slamming the Shark Typhoon can win you the game. One Heliod's Intervention. Sometimes the artifacts and enchantments have to go. Sometimes you need a ton of life gain. One Dance of the Manse. Of course, we love this in the main deck for Doom Foretold, but we don't have to put it in the main deck. It's a situational card. You only want to draw it late in the game when you have a graveyard that's full of enchantments and artifacts. So here, we can go fetch it when the time is right. And one Field of Ruin, because sometimes you need to hit your land drop, and sometimes you need to kill a Crawling Barrens. Anyway, I've introduced the deck and the sideboard, talked a little bit about it. So we're going to go play some sweet, sweet Doom Foretold magic. Before I do that, a quick dedication on the deck. This video is dedicated to Evan Bingaman. Evan Bingaman is the latest YouTube member. Thank you very much for joining. I dedicate each video to the latest member at the time that I record. So, do we have a sweet cosmetic we can get? I think I see one. Edantha Triome. Let's get, I like these ones better, so let's pick up this sweet Edantha Triome in honor of Evan Bingaman. And thank you so much to the 292 members for supporting the channel. Also, thank you to the patrons, and thank you to the Twitch subs and the Twitch Prime subs. You guys make a huge difference, and you're the reason I don't have to put sponsored content in every single freaking video. On that note, let's dive in. Let the nonsense begin. Corcotron, 96%er. This could knock me deep, way back. So we gotta win. We're up against another Yorion, so we just have to draw land, and we've got Treacherous Blessings, multiple ways to get to the sideboard. I think it's a keep. I don't know, though. Definitely a shaky one. Our opponent has a Temple. We do not draw the land. But Omen of the Sea should help us find one. Let's hope so. Opponent foretells a card. I think we're going to Omen. No, now that we've drawn the land, we want them to counter the Omen, so we'll Omen on their turn. They probably won't counter it anyway, but with Treacherous Blessing, we can probably find many more lands. Okay, what are we up against? This is probably going to be a very hard game, but we have a sideboard. They don't. Probably. I guess that doesn't have to be true. All right, no white source for the birth here, so we're double bottoming. And we hit the white source. And we hit another birth anyway. Feels good. I think we get this online. Playing Blessing here would just make us discard. And we'll hold Fae of Wishes, because in this matchup we definitely want to access our sideboard cards. Our opponent probably has counter spells in their deck. We don't. What will they do? Probably land, attack, go, but I'd like to be surprised. Slam Nico. Interesting. Do we doom them? They might have Skyclave Apparition, but our doom is a 4-mana play and we have an opportunity to resolve it. I think we go for that. We can also eliminate the Nico. Eliminate the Nico, Birth of Meletis. If they play a Skyclave Apparition, though, blowing it up gets us a token. This is a close one. I think we're going to do. They don't appear to be a Doom Foretold deck, so they want to blink their stuff with Yorion. If we can shut some of that down, we're feeling good about ourselves. This could be Alrund's Epiphany. That's a card we need to set up around. We don't want them to have a good advantage going into an Epiphany turn. Alright, they do not remove the Doom Foretold. Let's remove our Omen. So, it feels like we want to play Birth into Blessing. The opponent can counter that, which is very frustrating, but I guess we go for it here. Maybe we play Warning. What's better, Warning or Blessing? I'm not kidding. It might be closer than we think. And we do want to force them to use their mana so they don't just draw cards, get ahead that way. They might counter this. Is that good for us? Seems pretty good. And besides, this makes us discard at this point. Let's go for it. How scared are you of my sideboard? Not that scared. Alright, end step. Omen? Maybe? Brazen Bee. In response to your own Brazen Borrower. Okay. Brazen Borrower is pretty good against Doom Foretold. I will grant that. Not great against Raven's Warning, though. It says, whenever one or more creatures are flying, combat damage to a player. Okay. Yep, no blocks. So if this is my Archon deck, then they only had 4 counter spells, but they also had 4 Epiphanies. And I think you Epiphany right there if you have it. So that makes this a Saw It Coming, I think. So what do we do? I think we go for the Doom and use the Eliminate where we need to. We can attack first and see what they do. They might go for a Shark Typhoon. We want to hit the player because we get to draw a card. Yep, there's the Shark. Okay, hand. Seagate Restoration, which is about to resolve and make this game an absolute mess, but they don't have many cards. These are in exile, right? Yeah, the Petty Theft and the face down card are in exile. Shatter the Sky, ECD. If they ECD my Doom Foretold, I'm okay with that. Let's do it. What are we getting next turn with the Warning? If I can duress that Seagate Restoration, I'll be pretty happy. They don't have enough mana for it yet. They need an untapped land. Or we could fetch a Negate with the Fae of Wishes. I don't think they'd like that very much. I built it. I can take it apart. We have to be totally surgical in this game. Know our deck's weaknesses. Ooh, drew Amiria's Call. Does that mean you're firing off the Restoration? They really don't want to. They want a bigger hand when that happens. And they play ECD. They get rid of the Warning, so they're afraid of what I would fetch. Their ECD is going down to the Doom Foretold. So we want to play Blessing and what? Another Warning? We still have this Restoration to worry about, but their hand isn't very full. It will have like 3 cards. We could fetch a Duress and get rid of it, but then we lose the Doom Foretold for not much. We could fetch Negate. But then the ECD, oh, it's not going to go off. It's going to get sacrificed. The problem with it is that our Doom Foretold goes away. I think we're better off just drawing some cards. The opponent has to spend 7 mana to draw those cards. It's not that exciting. There's the Saw It Coming. Here's the cards. And Raven, we're at 15, they're at 18. We have another warning though. Let's keep our flyer around. And it trades with Borrower, so we wouldn't block there. The opponent flashes in the Borrower. That is an option. It's a lot of mana though. So they still have this ECD, but they don't have a Yorion to flicker it. What do they have coming back? Not much. They're just gonna lose it next turn. So I don't know if saving it there is the play. Yeah, I don't get this. I think they're just obsessed with their ECD, or maybe they thought they could flicker it, but it's not gonna work. We do get the tax on our turn. Maybe that's what they're thinking. So we want a permanent on the battlefield. We could also double Doom. What permanent do we want to give up? I guess I want to give up a Fae of Wishes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2. I guess they can Wrath, and then that doesn't happen. I'm trying to get the most out of these Dooms, and it's a little complicated. Maybe we just ECD this. We don't have a creature in the graveyard yet. Tough call. Tough call. Could also play a Raven's Warning. I'm really not sure what the right play is. I think I need to pop this Doom Foretold, actually. And this is an expensive card. Let's play it while we can. So what this does is it gets rid of their ECD, which makes Doom Foretold pop on their turn. They discard a card. I make a Knight. Gain 2 life, draw. My ECD is ticking on the battlefield. They end up getting taxed the turn after they play. I assume they're going to play Seagate Restoration here. And the turn after that, getting taxed messes with their ability. We also might be able to flicker the buy Yorion and flicker the ECD. Also, this going off, making them discard, it does mean that it's 1 less card for the Seagate Restoration to draw. And they give up their Field of Ruin. Okay. Woo! I feel like we're really ahead, but such a grind. Like, here they are. They're back at 7. I'm sure they feel really good about it. We tax them with the ECD. Now we can go get like Dance of the Manse, but I think we're a few mana off of that being amazing. Let's keep picking away. They might want to trade these tokens for this 2/2. Now the big risk now is that they have Alrund's Epiphany, right? And they just take multiple turns, make a bunch of birds. So in that case, Fae of Wishes. Let's go get Disdainful Stroke. Can counter a number of things. And then play Raven's Warning. Oh, we can't. We left too much black untapped. Oh, that's painful. Let's buy Yorion then. Ah, that was a big mess up. I really meant to have a Raven's Warning down. Could have also played a Fae of Wishes and then discarded another Fae of Wishes to have something to get back with ECD. I don't think that's great. So they foretell a Saw It Coming. That means it can't fight a counter war this turn, though. Okay. Didn't expect that. Not exact. I mean, maybe it's one of my older builds. Or maybe it's not my build at all, of course. So if we're going to Heartless Act here, well, we can't. Okay, I've messed up with my mana twice now. That's not good. I gotta be better than that. Okay. Which goes off first? I think my trigger goes off first. I don't think they get to exile this before the Doom Foretold goes off. I think it's better, though, to try a Heartless Act. And see if it resolves. They don't want to fight over that. Yep. Shark Typhoon is a card, so let's not walk into it. Raven's Warning. Fae of Wishes, I suppose? Can block a 3/3 shark. Ugin. And they have the mana for Saw It coming. But we will Doom Foretold the Ugin. So we fight this fight and make them tap out. Right? Right. It's not like we have that much stuff on the battlefield. I know it feels like they won this battle, but this is a battle I'm pretty happy to lose. Now I get to Doom Foretold their Ugin, unless they have Brazen Borrower. Or I get to ECD their Ugin. I suppose that's even better, with Yorion in hand. Alright, do we fetch here? Get another counter spell, or do we get the Raven's Warning going? Very likely that they're going to ECD the ECD, but then we Doom Foretold it, so we're going to want the Warning going. But the more mana efficient play is to use the Fae. I think we'll use the Fae and go get a negate. Or get a dance. I don't think they have another counter spell. That's a big pain for them. Like, they can't beat a Resolve Dance, I don't think. And when this taxes them and then we play this, this can go fetch a negate if they hold up mana, acting like they're going to counter the dance. Might be a one-game video, guys. Might be a one-game video. Says go. And you're taxed. So they're going to make a big shark. Let's play Raven's Warning. We go for a Yorion. I guess if they counter it, that's fine. It's not really the fight I want to fight. Besides, if they counter it, it comes back from Elspeth Conquers Death. They allow it. So we'll flicker both. ECD sticks around. They get taxed again next turn. And we have blockers for their shark. Expensive Omen of the Sea there. They have a lot of unknown cards in their hand, but maybe we get to see them next turn with the Raven's Peak. Alright, so they said go because they want to set up their Yorion to be a good Yorion. I respect this. But we will see how much mana they have left over, and if we can dance on their face. There's the Archon. And the Yorion. So, a good sequence from no board to a very good board. And they have the means to stop us from drawing and peeking with the Raven's Warning. So it feels pretty good for them, I'm sure. We get to dance, though, right? Yeah, we get to dance. Guys, we can dance if we want to. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 awesome cards. They will get shattered if we go for 6. But we'll draw so many cards. What else can we do? We can Heartless Act this, eliminate this, and still get the warning to happen. That seems so much worse by comparison. Actually, okay, since they're going to shatter, do you think they have a Dance of the... No, it doesn't matter what they have. We have this. So we should do this for 5, right? Because we have a Yorion. 1, 2... Who cares about Birth of frickin' Meletus? Exile your Yorion. Don't need this. Okay, I said who cares about Birth, and they're like, well, you will care. We'll make you care. All right, 0 timeouts left. I think we sit with, like, Eliminate, Heartless Act, things of that nature here. I don't think an attack here achieves much, but I guess we can get in with the peak if we use a Heartless Act on the Archon and charge with everything. And since we know the board is probably getting blown up anyway, that makes a lot of sense to me. Now, another thing we have to think about is Ugin, and Ugin is annoying because our opponent did show it to us, but we've got so many cards. We reloaded so hard. So let's have a look at this hand. There is a Dream Trawler, which is very awkward. I guess Doom Foretold would have to kill it. There's a Skyclave Apparition, which can take out this Doom Foretold. There's a Shark Typhoon and a Shatter. So nothing, I don't think there's anything we can't handle. 1, 2, and the last card is probably Birth. Yeah. Yep, the opponent didn't have a counter. They didn't have a way to stop the dance. But they did kind of let their pants down by going for the big awesome Yorion turn. Tapping too low, basically greenlighting it. Sometimes bluffing is better, but it's hard to say. I'm the kind of player who wouldn't try to resolve the dance until I was set up, and I could wait till the warning popped and I had a negate, and then I would be, or an agonizing remorse, and then I would be sure. Yep. So they take the Doom. Their plan now is to smork me through the blessings. Like that's what they're going for. You know, I still don't have a creature down here. I should have discarded one. I could have had a free Archon this turn. I missed that. That's a bit embarrassing. All right, so we can get our own Ugin. That can definitely get us out from under blessings. Heliod's Intervention is also really good at that, but I think... Huh. Do we need to sweep this board? Wouldn't hurt, would it? All right. Ugin. So it's 2 life a card. That's really expensive. So we need to Yorion first. We can attack first. The opponent might make a Shark Typhoon token, though, and then we'd have to eliminate it. So let's not attack. All right, keep first one. Get the double Yorion trigger. Blink the blessings. Opponent doesn't appear to have an instant speed way to deal with this Archon, so we can make a bunch of nice, happy Pegasus tokens. And we can hold up and eliminate. Yeah, the opponent is impressed. As they should be. Still good. Still good. Now we could discard the Ugin for free Ugin off an ECD in the future, but I don't think that's the play. Do we hide our Archon? It's about to get Wrathed. Yeah, we'll hide our Archon. Look at my hand. 5 cards have to be discarded. So we know that there's a shark coming in, so we can eliminate 1. What's the last discard? The last discard. It's possible I have all my good stuff from my sideboard now. All right, so resolve there. Eliminate that. It's also possible that this Omen is just overkill, but we still have 37 cards in our deck. Oh, I still have 1 counter in my sideboard. Okay, we should get rid of an Omen then, I think. The Nightmare can still be really nice. It's a good hand. It is a good hand. The opponent is upkeep scrying. Why? Why would you do that? I'm pretty sure you're just going to shatter, but maybe I'm wrong. No. No shatter, no dream trawler. I guess I do just want to draw a land here. I'm going to end up discarding too many of these cards, so I guess I want to put good cards on the bottom to draw them later. Yeah, pretty happy to get through all this land. All right, that's a nice grip. We are doing it. Blue, 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 blue. I guess I want more blue. We don't need that much black, I don't think. So you have to consider that your cards are disposable. So let's charge. We could have played Ugin, or tried to play Ugin. Okay. Good game. Ah, they have resigned. They have resigned the battle. They actually didn't have an out. I expected some shark nonsense. Why didn't they shatter? I guess I don't know. Maybe they didn't count on all the Pegasus tokens coming back. I really had to work for that one. Let's see if we have brain cells left for the next opponent. Anand is a 12-4-7. And another Yorion? What's going on today? All right. I guess against Yorion, a slow hand is fine. Triome to Triome. To Triome, to... Tempting. Very tempting. Okay. Why not? Why not? I guess we want to curve out here. We want to play a 3 into a 4 into a 5 potentially, so... Runeforge Champion. Okay, we get to test our metal against runes, which isn't something I've had a lot of games with. I wonder what we fetch against them. Probably Ugin in the Yorion Mirror. Being the one with the Ugin is pretty great. We do have to hit our land drops, but that's doable. We can do it. Yep. Take our first punch from the champion. Binding the Old Gods. Okay, that's a distinct advantage that their deck has. They get to run that card along with their Yorion. It's very good. And that's where Raven's Warning looks like a really bad card, is in the situation we just experienced. So, if they have a Yorion right now, this is a disaster, but we're gonna try. We're gonna try getting our Archon down and getting ahead. That's the plan. Enigmatic Incarnation. Okay. Okay. What is that gonna do? They get a 5-drop creature. Let's hope we get a land for the ECD. Yep, they go with Elder Gargaroth. We get a land for the ECD because we're really good at magic. Slam it. Get in the air. Did they play their binding too early? We will see. Still a lot that could happen from here. But that Archon's a big problem for them now. Because if they kill it, it just comes back with ECD. They're going to a Rune of Flight. Do what you gotta do. Alright, their own ECD. What does it target? My ECD. Not the Archon. Interesting. They can still Primal Might their Runeforged champion. And then they can sacrifice this to get a 6-drop, which Dream Trawler, probably, is what I would have in the deck. No, they're giving up a rune. It's kind of cool with Incarnation that runes can get champions to get back runes, but they get Skyclave Apparition. Okay. That's a pretty unfortunate draw. It's really awkward, because next turn our spells cost more. We can try Omen into Archon, but I'm not excited about that. Let's try this. We are in a lot of trouble, and we're not really solving it. Do it now because of the ECD trigger. Heartless Act. Well, that's something. So next turn we can Yorion, maybe. Well, we'll see. They've had explosive turns, so the board might look very differently because we never removed the Enigmatic Incarnation. And maybe we should have. Maybe letting them have a Gargaroth would have been better. I just don't play against this card enough. Seems really good with runes and Runeforged Champion, though, because you always have something to get and something to get back, so that you always have enchantments to sacrifice. My problem with the Incarnation was when you ran out of enchantments to sacrifice. Yeah, this is gonna take a Nugan. They have a Doom Foretold, okay. No attack. I mean, what are you sacrificing and what are you getting? Rune becomes a what? Random card. Other Incarnation becomes a Yorion. Nice. I'm really jealous. I don't think I can win. In fact, see ya. I'm off it. Should have taken out the Incarnation, I guess. Although it just looks like I can't beat that deck. I just don't know how that deck ever beats something fast. Jonathan is number 266, so they're playing mono white or mono red. Or rogues. I forget about rogues. But rogues is good too. This hand is not good against them. Ugh. 2 ECDs against the Luris deck, and no other early plays. The Omen can try to fix things. The mana's good, but there's no early removal. But maybe the Omen finds it. I mean, I'm trying to talk myself into a hand. I should probably just be mulling. Nightmares are way better. So, pretty good. Pretty good. Don't quit! I will thwart the rogue evil. Super awkward. If I go fetch black right now, the next turn I can play Birth, and then I can play Nightmare on 3, but then I'm stuck with a tap land in my hand. That was one of the weirder, worst draws that could happen. But, let's see where it leads. Because this still might just be an untapped land, we still might draw black for the Nightmare anyway, and we can still play Fabled Passage on 2 and hold Birth if there's no targets. So there's options. There's a Wind Robber. They're not off to a great start. We drew a black source. Get it on the field. Get the Birth. We'll block absolutely nothing. And then next turn, we should be able to start playing Nightmares. Unless the opponent finds a way to mill us here, they shouldn't be able to counter it. Nightmare's usually a good card against them too. Unless they run those negates and mystical disputes, and I guess dispute won't do it here, but other nonsense. All right, that'll get some extra mill, but it's gonna cost them their Thought Thief. Another Plains is not what the doctor ordered. We need to stop drawing land now. We've drawn land for every draw step. Yep, that's a nasty one. Gonna take your into the story. Then I'm gonna play Doom Foretold. Or the other Nightmare. Unfortunately, this goes to the graveyard. Gets them up to 4, up to 5. Full price of One Mind. Into the Nightmare. You'll love to see it. Are they going to Bloodchief's Thirst my 0-4? Or are they just checking it for reach? Ouch. Come on. Oh my gosh. I think that's 5 straight land. No, we kept a 3 land or 4 straight land. All right. So we'll get the Drown later. Let's take Into the Story, not even give it a chance. And let's get rid of this and not give it another chance either. We don't want it to draw a card. And no, I'm not going to thin the deck with a Passage. I don't want another card in the graveyard just for them. God knows deck thinning just makes you draw the card anyway. All right, another pricey of One Mind. 7 cards in the graveyard. Yeah, they're on a slow draw, but if we just keep flooding out, they're just going to outcard us. It's going to be terrible. Are you kidding? Like, seriously? Seriously. All right, something for the Doom Foretold. And 2 spells. No. Deck hates me, man. All right, their hand isn't amazing. We exile their graveyard here. We play this. Don't know if it really matters, though. We're just getting absolutely drowned in lands. The opponent rigged the top of our deck. Wizards hates us. We're just gonna die to Lurrus. That's not good. That's not good at all. But I guess we cast it and make them use their make them use their Essence Scatter so they don't play a Thought Thief so our Doom Foretold pops, because we need it to pop. If we don't play something here, then they can play Thought Thief, sacrifice it to our Doom Foretold. We lose our Doom Foretold for nothing, and they just play Lurrus and start getting stuff back. Here, at least we pop the Doom Foretold and get to draw a card. Fae of Wishes. We can go get Cling to Dust. Maybe we get Dance. Ooh, yeah. If we actually resolve Dance on them, that's really good. They only have a Thieves Guild Enforcer. They don't have a way to draw cards there. And they say go. That's bizarre. Alright, play around Mystical Dispute here. And see if this happens. How do they always draw the counter spells, guys? How do they do it? Alright, so now they're going to get back Thought Thief, play Lurrus. Buying Yorion is pretty meh, but I guess we can go Yorion and Omen of the Sea next turn. If we attack here, the opponent ambushes us. How do they always do it, man? Like, they had a really bad draw, but we just ripped so many lands. If they have another counterspell here to protect the Lurrus, I'm gonna really tilt. Ugh. Okay. Well, they did draw 3 of One Mind and Into the Story. Maybe a bad draw is overstating it. And if they hold 2 mana here and don't play the Enforcer, then they drew another counterspell. Or they're a bluffer. They could definitely be a bluffer. But there's that stick. That stick that tells you that things are not fine. I guess we force it with the Yorion. Maybe they don't even counter the Yorion. Okay. Do this now in case we like our scry. And we want to thin, but we don't really want to thin. All right, blue, blue, black, black, white, 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 blue. I guess another black. Okay, Heartless Act. We got some removal to fight with this Lurrus next turn. They don't flash anything in. I think it was a bluff. We'll see if they find Into the Story here to just bury us. But it's another robber. Okay. That's unfortunate because that pairs with the Lurrus and they get 2 cards out of this. Poking around in the graveyard. What for? No attacks. Okay. Pretty good draw. So if we attack with the Yorion, they block with the robber, they sacrifice. Not really worth it when it can hold off a Thought Thief. Eliminate kills their whole deck. This doesn't work if they get something back with, like, Call the Death Dweller. I guess we want to fight on their upkeep, right? So, what else do we want to do this turn? Do we play a Blessing? I think we do. It's going to cost us 2 more life, though. In that case, let's not. They might also sack this Digging, which opens up an attack for the Yorion. That's nice. That's nice. They would have protected that if they could. They might have an Agadeem's, though. Bit of a blowout. In that case, let's hold. and play Blessing. Well, we can attack with Yorion. They attack back, they mill. We have 48 cards. We need to pressure their life total. We're the one who does have to end the game in some way. Okay. Do they have a 1? They don't have a 1. All right. Go for Blessing. Here comes the draw 4. Really? They must have Agadeems then. Okay. Very precise use of Drown in the Lock there. Not protecting the Lurrus engine. They must have a way to get back. Or they play the deck differently than I would. That's possible too. ECD down, Raven's Warning down. I can race. I know it's a lot of mill, but I think it's acceptable. And they are down to 1 card, and we draw land! So obnoxious. Take it all. You like to see that. Resolves. Keep the original. Gonna need this refill. The double omens. More removal. Hard to turn down the removal, but I really do need more card draw. Access to my sideboard wouldn't suck either. So the opponent's shields are down. I think we keep waiting though. Like, I'm not that afraid of the crab. 38 cards is pretty good. 3 spells sucks, but it's life. Volmage's Domination. That's unfortunate. Alright. I'm going to eliminate your Thought Thief now. And let's see if we hit an Elspeth Conquers Death with the Omen before we use the Heartless Act. Take another Omen. Doom Foretold and another Omen. Okay, sure. Omen again. Okay. It's going well. Away with the crab. Destroy the Orion. Attack with the 2/2. Opponent takes the trade. All right. Just don't draw into the story right now, or Agadeems, please. Please. Interesting. So what's the card? It goes to the Nightmare. Yeah. Heartless Act that wall. I love it. All right. So Doom Foretold pops on them. We get another Knight. But let's play Blessing. Maybe we'll find something better. We're at 33 cards. Not a counter. Come on. Come on. Okay. That makes my Doom Foretold look good. I wonder why they played it now. Worried about my counter? Ah! Get that out of here. Come on, let's get that graveyard exile before Agadeems comes along. Let's go. All right, they can't Agadeems from there. I think they drew another land because priority isn't moving. Give up the blessing. Pop off the nightmare, exile your yard. Seems good. Raven's Warning. We're gonna work on a nice little sideboard card here. Pop the Doom. Okay, it was a land. We got a bird and a token. Okay, they thirst on the token. God, the Into the Story countdown is real. You know it's coming. You know it's about to happen. Come on, scry up the goods. ECD. I'll definitely take the Heartless Act and draw the ECD. So the ECD won't have a target here, but we'll just play it out as a way to get back a card from the graveyard. Get him. Get him. Down to 4. Draw. Drown in the Lock is the card. 24 cards to go. About to fetch a card from our sideboard. What's it going to be? Ugin for the potential lethal, probably. Do we just run out the ECD? Yeah. Make them counter it. Yep. Rune freaking crab. All right, in response to them doing this, we shoot the crab. We don't want them to mill. Down to 3. Don't touch my bird. Okay, bird down. All right, let's make sure we draw something nice. Omen of the Sea. Perfect. Perfect. A classy lethal for a not so classy opponent. Actually, I'm just saying that because of their deck choice. Imagine if people judged me on my deck choice, guys. Bang. Pretty well played. Not really, like, for a rogue player, they didn't rope a ton. Just pretty good game. Pretty good game for a rogues match. And we are back for the post-game wrap and try to keep this short. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Those were some long games, but exciting. And I love the enigmatic incarnation game just because I got dunked on so hard. So maybe there's a matchup window there for a deck like that, even though I don't really like that kind of deck very much. It's fun, it's interesting. Maybe I'll play enigmatic incarnation one day. But anyway, what would I change about this deck as it is? Maybe one of the most awkward cards is Birth of Meletis, and you could build a mana base without it, and you could run Golden Egg instead and balance the mana base a little more, because it does lead to some problems. But I think if you've watched the channel for a while, you know how I feel about this card. I actually love this card quite a bit, so really happy to play it here. And Elspeth's Nightmare was a gem. Treacherous Blessing didn't kill me today, which has been a problem in the past. I'm excited that that worked out well. Yorion was awesome, and Raven's Warning was a little bit better than expected. We got to draw the card off it more than I expected, and the card from outside the game could be very relevant. Although it was very frustrating when they Binding of Old Gods my Raven Warning, or when they Skyclave Apparition my Raven's Warning. That's twisted. The sideboard is a good spot to flex your creativity. My choices don't have to be your choices. My choices were very, I would say, are very traditional. You can run cards like Necromentia and Ashiok's Erasure and really try to get over on the opponent and express your creativity through your wishboard fetches if you really, really want to. But I think this deck is sweet. I think this deck is in the tier 2 category for standard. I think it's very good against the aggressive decks of the format and has the potential to defeat the ramp decks of the format. And it's flexible for a best of 1 deck because it has that wishboard access. So I think this deck is probably tier 2, possibly tier 1. Definitely a deck you could spam, get good at, and get to Mythic with. I have a lot of confidence in that. So go out there, bring some Doom Foretold to your opponents before it rotates when Eldraine is finally gone. Thank you for watching this video. As always, I will see you in the next video. You're cool.